pricing is the linchpin to a freelancer's success. As a freelancer, most of us trading time for money. How much time do I really have? How much time do I really need so I can make the money that I want to make? The mistake that we make, we compound the mistake. We start thinking that, well, I'll lower my price. That'll attract more people.
Hey, Steve.
Hello, Sudev.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thanks. Good morning.
Great. So today we're going to discuss yet another interesting topic about small business and freelancers, but with respect to pricing. What do you feel about it?
Short answer, I believe pricing is the linchpin to a freelancer's success.
Awesome. Okay. So let's just get started by asking one simple question. Why is pricing such a critical element in building a profitable and sustainable business?
As a freelancer, most of us trading time for money. Mm-hmm. And what we've got to get our head around is, how much time do I really have? How much time do I really need? And given those constraints, what do I need to charge every time I have the opportunity to work with a client so I can make the money that I want to make? Most of us, me included, we start our business, we raise our flag, and we tell people that, hey, I'm ready. You can come and call on me. And I think, we'll just keep doing this until we figure it out.
Right.
But we don't have any clue what we're doing.
And that figuring it out never happens.
No, never happens. And we'll get into it later on about the mistake that we make. We compound the mistake. We start thinking that, well, I'll lower my price. That'll attract more people.
No, that's not the answer.
No, it won't.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Cool. So you keep talking about Ikigai, and we had a detailed discussion about Ikigai a couple of weeks ago, and one of the previous episodes. Can you? How do you integrate Ikigai into pricing and the business strategies?
What I have learned in this journey of mine is that it's our business as a freelancer. What's motivating us to do anything? Why did we choose this business?
Right.
Could have done anything. We could have picked any business that we wanted to go into. We could have gone to work for Bank of America instead.
That's true.
But no, we decided we're going to do this business. Okay, why? What's your motive behind it? What's the difference that you want to make? I've had this discussion several times with people who are good salespeople, and they talk to me about closing the sale. And if they don't close the sale, they feel as though they lost. No, you didn't lose. You still shared your values and your ideas with the people you want to share it with. So even if they don't hire you, you have still had the opportunity to share your belief and your values, that this is my idea. And here, take it, think about it.
Right.
And if I can help you use it, fine. And if I can't, that's fine too, because I'm moving my business the way I want to, talking to the people I want to talk to. And I'm there to try to help them. That's where Ikigai comes in. I need to figure out who it is I really want to help.
And how does pricing play into that?
Pricing is a little bit different than that, because as the analogy we've used before, when you're on an airplane and the oxygen masks come down, you better put yours on first.
That's true.
And that's where pricing comes in. That, as we'll talk about today, when you figure out how many clients can you help in the course of a week, month, or year, when you figure that out, you'll go, man, that's it. That's the number of people I could help.
Yeah.
That's not that many. And it's a lot less than everybody.
Right, absolutely.
But there are people that I really want to help. And so that's the target, to figure that out.
Cool. So I know you created this fantastic pricing framework, which details step by step what one should be doing to get, the right price for the service or product that you're offering. Can you just walk us through that framework?
Short answer. Most freelancers are trading time for money. We're either producing a product and then selling it to our client, or we're providing a project. We're working together in some kind of consulting fashion. So in either of those events, that's a gig. That's what we do. We're in a gig economy. And as a freelancer, we are providing a gig that delivers a certain result to our client. So the first thing we got to do is define our gig. How long does it take me to deliver the gig? Well, I don't know. It could vary from 3 to 10 hours. Okay, fine. Pick a number. Pick one hourly rate or hourly time frame, rather, that you can get most of your gigs accomplished in. So that's one gig. That's gig time. Okay, that's the time I need in order to deliver this result. Okay, how much time do I have? I don't know. How many hours do you want to work in a day? And don't tell me 8, because you're not working 8. 5 is probably the most we can work in a day. How many days you're going to work in a week? I'm going to work 5. No, I'm going to work 6. No, you're not. Take 2 days off. Don't design a business to kill yourself. In fact, work a 4-day week. Leave yourself Fridays so that if you have to work on Fridays, work. If you don't, don't. And then lastly, how many weeks are you going to work in a year? So those 3 numbers multiplied together will tell you that's how many hours I have available this year. So I can take my gig time, divide it into those hours. That's how many gigs I can produce at full capacity if I actually do work all those hours and devote them totally to my clients. Well, you can't do that either.
You have vacation, you have holidays.
Well, you've already built in vacation by saying I'm only going to work 45 weeks. But in the hours and the days and weeks I've decided I'm going to work, I can't do that. That's a sprint. I can sprint for a little while, but I can't sprint for a long time.
Right.
So just take that number and cut it in half. Okay, fine. So if I decide that I can do 100 gigs at full capacity, I want to start thinking about succeeding at 50 gigs. Okay, so that's my production capacity. Now, how many gigs am I going to book? Now, booking a gig is the exact same thing as making a sale. But doesn't booking a gig sound a lot easier than making a sale?
Right.
Because I have a gig. Do you want to buy it? Would this gig help you? Do you want to do it? Yes or no? Period. That's it. Now we can and should talk about the value of my gig and whether or not my gig is actually going to deliver any kind of value to you. That's what we got to focus on.
Right.
And me as a freelancer, I have to understand your business and I have to really want your business to succeed. And I want you to tell me what does your success look like? And going back to my Ikigai, I picked you. I want to help you. Can I is the question. And I want to convey to you that I believe in what you're doing and I'd like for your business to succeed. Can I help you do that? So that's where Ikigai comes back into this with your production capacity. How many gigs can you book? Okay, now I've got a number. Now the only other thing I got to figure out is how much money do I want to make? It's my call. Do I want to make $50,000 a year? Do I want to make $100,000 a year? And given those numbers, now we can calculate what I have to charge for a gig in order to make the money I want to make. That's how you come up with a freelancer's price per gig.
Awesome. What's the most critical steps in your pricing process?
Time. Going through just what I talked about.
Okay.
To be able to quantify what your gig is. I was just talking to a prospect the other day, and she makes custom designed candles. Okay. Well, you would think, well, that's a product. Yeah, it is sort of, kind of. But it takes her an hour to make a candle. So there's a 1 hour time frame for her gig. So it goes a little bit more than that in that conversation with her, but you could have a product that still takes your time in order to make it. And that's the ingredient that we so often ignore. We don't recognize how much of my time is it going to take for me to deliver the value I promised you.
Right. We talk about outcomes often in our conversations. So how does understanding the before and after of those outcomes play into setting the right price?
Short answer is it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't.
No, in setting the price, it's the first oxygen mask. The price I'm setting to begin with is so I can breathe.
Right.
That's the right price. So now I've got to figure out if this is what I'm going to charge, I've got to be able to define its value in your terms. When I'm talking to a given client, I know pretty much what my superpower can deliver. I know what I think I can do, but I need to be able to align that with my prospects. So that's where the after picture comes in. You know, when I can help you achieve your future, you tell me what your future is going to look like. And if I can help you get from here to there, have I just defined and supported my price? Because that's where it comes into play. But you have to tell me the value. And that's different than me picking the right price. My price is for me.
Got it. So how do you measure the success of a gig? I mean, is pricing the only factor, or do you add value to it? And if so, you know, why is it important to consider all these other aspects into the pricing?
The issue of value and the issue of value is the outcome. Why would you hire me? What's the point? What are we going to try to achieve? And to be able to quantify what that outcome is supposed to be. Now, if you're in the candle making business, it's a candle. You asked me for it. You asked for a red one with this kind of a scent and this kind of whatever. Here it is. Right. It's exactly what you told me. Here it is, right? No fuss, no muss. If it is a project, if it's a consulting project where we're providing expertise or knowledge or insight, it's a little harder to quantify what the outcome is, but we have to, because we got to know, when does the gig end? And if you don't have that outcome defined, it may never end.
And how do they know whether it's a product or a project?
A product in the client's mind is, you're giving something me tangible. Something. It's a tangible thing. Okay. You know, it's a book, it's a candle, it's a camera. It's something that I can see, feel, touch, use. When we get into the knowledge business, when we get into education, when we get into coaching, consulting, et cetera, it's a lot fuzzier. There isn't anything you can touch and feel unless you define it well. And I like to coach my clients to think that every gig that they do has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you need to define them so that when we start the project, we know where we're going. This is not going to last forever. And even though some of my clients would like it to last forever, you don't. You want it to end. They can rehire you for a new project, but you know, I've been involved in some of those long-term relationships, and as much as I like them and the people I'm working with, it's not the end result that I was hoping we would get to.
So you have a definite end, and then if required, rehire. That's how you'd like to proceed.
Yes. Being able to define our gig is really important. That's the business we're in. You're going to hire me for a certain amount of time. During that time, we're going to do these things, and we're going to cause that result.
Cool. So most of those who are freelancers, I'm not a freelancer, but I'm talking on behalf of freelancers, how important is to understand your production capacity? You talked about 45 weeks and then trying to understand your capacity and then divide it by 50% or, and things like that. So how important is for them to understand the capacity?
I think it's critical. And again, this relates to Ikigai. It's us doing what we want to do for the people that we want to help, the causes that we want to help. And oh, by the way, I'd like to make money doing it without killing myself. I don't want to have to overwork myself. And capacity is that calculation.
Right.
How many gigs can I deliver in the course of a year? And just being able to put that on paper makes things so much clearer that, oh, that's what I'm trying to do. 1 gig a week, 1 new client a week. And that's usually the starting point when I consult with someone. Let's pretend you can only do 1 gig a week. And let's talk about that accounting and that pro forma, that P&L, and see if that makes sense or not.
Makes sense.
And we'll go from there.
Got it. So you, at the beginning of the, our conversation, you talked about pricing being the linchpin to profitability. Can you share some success stories that you had?
Whatever my success stories may be, and there are some, all of them involved increasing their price because we figured out what their capacity really was.
Right. And
we were no longer trying to do anything for anybody at any time, more. We were trying to, no. I'm trying to get 1 new client a week or 2 new clients per week.
Right.
And I know what it is I have to do now in order to make that happen. It doesn't always happen because marketing is so fickle. It is so uncontrollable. No matter how focused we think we may be, we could be hitting the ideal client, but at the wrong time. And we don't know that. I mean, on paper, they're the perfect client. Why would they not hire me? Well, because they're not ready to.
Maybe they don't have the capacity to.
Yeah, maybe that too.
Yeah, cool. So what are some of the mistakes that most freelancers or startups do when it comes to pricing their services or products?
Short answer is they underprice.
Most often.
We think, and this is what we learned, right? I don't think anybody's really teaching anybody how to be an entrepreneur and how to really set up a startup business. We who decide to go do this, we do it based on our own experience.
An instinct.
But mostly it's because we've watched business take place all around us all the time. We're bombarded with marketing. How many marketing cues do we get in a minute? Like 20 or 30? I mean, we're getting bombarded with business stuff all the time. So it's easy to see why we think, oh, shoot, anybody can do it because everybody appears to be doing it. So why can't I do it? And so we'll just make it up. And most of us have an attraction to a deal. We like to be able to get something for less than its fair or its full, what do they call it in the auto industry? The manufacturer's suggested retail price. If we can get something for a little bit less than that, that's cool. Hey, I bought my car and I got a $3,000 discount because of blah, blah, blah. And we think that's cool. So if we take that mentality and we go into the marketplace by ourselves, guess what we think? We think the same thing. We think that if I offer this at a lower price, you're going to be much more interested in it.
That's not necessarily the truth.
It's not true. And even if it were true, why not start at a really high price?
Yeah. Right.
If that's the game you want to play. But the first thing is going back to the oxygen mask and you getting the money that you need to get. I was just talking to somebody the other day about if this freelance business of yours is critical for your business, for your family, if your family is counting on you as a freelancer, you've got to make money.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You've got to pay taxes, and you've got to have tax returns that show that you're making money. Because sooner or later, a lender or a landlord is going to say, prove to me you're making any money.
True.
So you want to get in the game. You want to become a tax-paying, successful business person to be able to prove to other people, nope, my business works.
True. How do you guide clients to balance pricing and their annual revenue versus business goals?
It's a simple question. It's not a simple question. It's complicated because there's factors involved. Beginning with, how important is this business to your family's well-being? If it's critical, that's a different thing than, well, it's a side hustle. I don't really have to make a lot of money doing this. It's a side hustle. So it depends on where you fall on that spectrum. How important is this business to the success of your family? And if it's really important, we've got to get this price as right as we can get it. And we don't know if the price is right until we get out there and start playing ball. So how do you know your price is right? You don't.
Right.
You don't. But you'll figure it out. Once you start talking to people, you'll realize that they're not seeing the value that you see. Maybe you're talking to the wrong niche market. There's other things to think about.
Got it.
But again, if the business is important to your family, you've got to get the price to generate the income that your family needs.
Steve, you talked a lot about pro forma, and we have the discussions on the pro forma quite often. Can you explain what pro forma is and why is it important in designing a business?
The simple explanation for a pro forma is it's simply a projected P&L. At the end of the year, this is what I want my business to show me. I want it to show me that I'm going to make this much in gross revenue. I will have paid myself this much in owner's compensation. I will have set 15% aside for taxes. I will have made a 10% profit. And this money left over, those are my operating expenses. Those are the key ingredients to the most simplistic of pro formas.
Got it.
And we need to see that on paper so that we know what it is we're trying to build. That's what this business is supposed to be. And we need to see it. We need to see it on paper.
You're right.
When we have a clear and succinct objective in front of us, the chances of us hitting it are a lot higher than if we don't. If we're just guessing that, well, I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep pushing. But we don't know what it is we're trying to accomplish. We don't feel the reward of accomplishment.
Right. So you talked about the gig economy. Okay. And how has this gig economy kind of influenced the freelancers and startup with respect to pricing?
Well, I think the two go hand in hand. I think the freelance market segment is the gig economy. The people who are freelancers are delivering gigs. The people who think they're delivering gigs are probably freelancers.
Okay.
So the two go hand in hand, in my mind. And it goes back to our time. We're trading time for money. And a lot of people have told me that, well, Steve, I don't want to trade time for money. I want to do more than that. Well, okay, fine. But it goes back to Ikigai. You're doing stuff that you really like to do.
Right.
And the question is, who is it you really want to help? And do you want to help people one-on-one, or do you want to help one-on-many? Do you want to have a mastermind group and have 10 people in the room and you're teaching all 10 of them. And you think, well, that's much more effective. Maybe it is if you like that kind of deliverable. But again, it's Ikigai. How do you want to do it?
Right.
If you want to go teach masterminds and have a group of people out there that pay you for it, fine. If you want to do it one-on-one, that's fine too. But play to your strengths. Play to the things you really want to do. And if you're going to be a freelancer and if you're going to be delivering gigs to the marketplace, I truly hope that that's what you most want to do.
What are some of the trends that you see happening in the freelancers and startup world with respect to pricing?
I'm not sure I have an answer to that question. I have an aversion to
the trends,
to generalities and trends.
Right.
I don't trust them, and I usually wind up challenging people when they tell me that, well, everybody's doing this. No, everybody's not. Yes, they are. Well, you mean if you think everybody is, if I find one person who isn't, you realize
then
you're wrong.
beats the purpose. Yeah.
You realize you're wrong.
Yeah. Right. It's like saying, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Minute is over.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. You have some clients, and how do you help them navigate through the fear of pricing themselves out of the market, especially while still ensuring that they're profitable?
When we decide that we're going to start our own business and be a freelancer, do you think that we are automatically putting ourselves in a leadership position? I think we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
We're saying that I think that what I'm about to bring to the marketplace is in fact really valuable.
Valuable, unique.
Right. And it's going to be helpful to some people. And we have to develop a sense of confidence in that. We have to accept the fact that we're taking a leadership position. I know what it is I'm talking about. The content, the value that I'm bringing to my clients is real.
Right.
And I know it's real. My job is when I'm talking to a prospect, I have to convince myself that I'm the right decision for this client. Whether they agree with it or not is yet to be determined. But I'm the first one that has to say, hey, you know what? I'm not the right person to help you do what you want to do. But if I am the right person, then this is the way I play. So it's a leadership thing, it's a confidence thing, and that's my price.
Got it. So it has to meet your leadership, the confidence, and your ability to take care of your family.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you have to be confident when you go out there and say, hey, this is my price. If you don't give me, then I'm not ready to deliver.
And just because they say no today doesn't mean it's no forever.
Yeah, exactly. So it just means it's not now.
Right.
Maybe later someday.
Yep.
Got it. Okay, I think we discussed quite a few things on pricing. Let's just get some real good rapid fire questions out of the way.
Okay, good.
Okay. Fixed pricing or hourly rates?
Neither one, but much more fixed pricing and never hourly rates.
It's because of the value.
Yes.
Okay. And what's the biggest myth about pricing, according to you?
I will get more clients if I lower my price.
Okay. What's the first step to take when setting up a price?
Define your gig. Know exactly how long it's going to take you in order to deliver the value you promised.
Awesome. For pricing strategy, is that an art or a science or both?
It's a science. We talked about that concept of the right price. And the right price is the price that I need in order to book the gigs I need
to take care of my family. Got it. High price and fewer clients, or low price and more clients? I know the answer already, but still.
High price and fewer clients.
Yeah.
But you can't take it to the extreme, right? I mean, you could. If you had one client paying you $1 million,
Right.
that'd be okay until they quit.
That's your all eggs in just one basket.
Exactly.
Okay. Should you ever work for free?
Yes.
You should.
Yep.
Why do you say?
When you look at the value, when you look at the offerings that freelancers bring to the marketplace, they fall on a spectrum. It's either a commodity or a non-commodity. And if you're doing something that everybody knows about, that's a commodity kind of thing. And you don't have to work for free then because everybody kind of knows what that is. But if you're doing something unique, something that's non-commodity, and people don't really know what it is, I believe it's in your best interest to do some work for free.
Free, and then create that testimonials.
Exactly. I encourage people to design free samples. Don't give away the farm, but
a taste.
Short, yeah, a taste. So the clients, so you can educate clients by your actions, not just your words.
Got it. The best way to justify a price increase?
There isn't any way to justify it. Just do it.
Do we have to explain the value that we provide?
No. Because a brand new client doesn't know if you just raised your price. The only people that know if you raised your price or not are your current clients.
Correct.
If you raise your price to your current clients, some of them are going to go away and some of them won't.
Right.
But if you're working with clients on a project to project basis, and I have had that instance myself, I don't raise my price for my clients. I don't know if that's the right thing to do.
But you don't raise your price for your existing clients?
For my existing, if they book me again for another project, we'll do the exact same terms we did before.
Okay. So only the new clients is what you raise the price.
Yeah.
That keeps it simple, helps you sleep at night.
Yeah.
Okay, one mistake freelancers make when negotiating a price.
They drop their price. They lower their price before they really understand the value that the client's getting. And people who think they're good salespeople compound the problem. They try to oversell the transaction.
Right.
And I think you're really off just saying, hey, look, if we can't agree on a price today, maybe we can agree on one tomorrow. Because maybe we just haven't figured out the real value yet. So let's just punt and we'll fight another day.
Yep. Makes sense. I heard Jim Rohn once say, price is an issue in the absence of value. So true.
So true. So true. And to clarify that, it's the client's value.
Yeah. Okay.
I do what I do, and every now and again, my wife will say, "Man, Steve, that is really, really valuable. You ought to charge a lot of money for that." Hun, it sounds valuable to you, but it has to be valuable to the client.
Person who's getting it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what you or I think it's worth.
Yep. What's the easiest way to add value to your price?
Be more selective on who your prospects and clients are.
Bottom of the funnel.
Yeah.
Marketing.
Yeah. Know exactly who it is you really want to talk to.
Should your pricing always align with the market rates?
No.
Why?
Because the market's too big and broad these days. It's impossible to say what market you're trying to appeal to.
Goes to the bottom of the funnel.
I like the term that I've heard recently called micro markets.
Micro markets.
Yeah.
How do you define a micro market?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's smaller than a market.
Okay. Your favorite way to test a new pricing strategy?
Play in traffic. Just go talk to people. When you think about building a freelance business, there's a couple of steps you have to go through, and then you got to go play in traffic. You got to go talk to people, especially if you're a non-commodity kind of thing. People don't really know what it is you're doing. So you have to figure that out, and you got to go talk to them. You got to do some free samples. You got to do some public speaking. You've got to do some
network
stuff, and in order to get your message out there and see what kind of reaction you get.
Got it. What's the most overlooked factor while setting a price?
It's a tie between time and money. Do we actually know how much time we need in order to deliver the products that we promise? And then do we know how much money we really are trying to make in order to figure out the price? I had a talk with a prospect the other day. We were going through this exact same conversation. And I said, so how much money do you want to make? And it took minutes before she came up with a number. And in fact, I had to stop her and I say, look, I'm not trying to be tricky here. Just put a number on the table.
Right.
Let's just start with something. But the mere fact that she couldn't answer the question means she never thought about it.
She never thought about it. Yeah. She does not know how much she wants to make.
Right.
Amazing. One thing you wish every freelancer knew about pricing. I'm way more worth more than you think. Just kidding.
The main thing is the oxygen masks. If you can't make the money you want, you can't help anybody.
That's true. Well, Steve, that's the end of the end of the talk on pricing. So thank you very much.
How'd we do?
You did good.
Cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A good one. Hey guys, I hope you really liked the video. And if you did, please like, subscribe, and comment. And we would like to reach many more small business owners. I would really appreciate if you can share the video with them as well. Thank you and see you until next time. Have a great one.